All right, welcome back. I am not sure what this is, but it came today and I did a lot of shopping during Black Friday, some of it after hours, and I'm just gonna take this off screen for a little bit of privacy. Honestly, there's some stuff coming that I'm just not quite sure what I did, so, oh, cool. Whoa. Nice. Okay, now I'm excited. Two of my favorite brands, Demko and Benchmade. I know what these are. It's funny, the acronym on the package didn't make sense, but these are from KnifeCenter. And I'm going to start with this one because this is a knife I've never had before. I'm going to spend more time on it. It's a Griptillian KnifeCenter exclusive in 20CV. Which they were doing for such a compelling price, I could not do it. So I'm excited to have this one, but this is also a KnifeCenter exclusive. And one I've been really wanting, I just been sitting there like looking at it on their website going, God, I hope those don't sell out. But I just couldn't quite bring myself to buy it. And I had one of these already in shark sweat. I know you think I'm crazy, but there it is in clip point. And the reason was I got this one used and abused, and it's got some, it's not terrible, but a little bit of pitting on it on the 3V and stuff. 3V is not one you want to leave alone. You definitely want to wipe that off after you're using it and stuff. And although it's not terrible, this one has just always felt a little less than perfect to me. It's fine, but you know, I'm a collector, so it's like 28 degrees out right now, so this thing's a little cold, so we'll have to let some of the frost get off of it from the mailbox. But there she is. I've been really wanting this one. This is the carbon fiber. Let's see if they have like a SKU for it. It just says, you can actually see AD20.5, CP is clip point, 3V is the blade steel, and then CF is carbon fiber model. And it is a really cool knife that I've been really wanting, and just sort of finalizes my clip point Demko obsession for these AD20.5s. I just think they are the bee's knees. Call me a freak, call me a madman, but I really wanted this little trio here. And now I got it. So these three to me are just really, really cool. I do have the smooth titanium also, but it's not as inspiring to me cosmetically. Great knife. This is actually probably the best carry of the three. I mean, maybe I'd put this one in there. One of these two, I actually like the shark foot for the daily carry, but for the collector in me, oof, that is just a sweetie right there. So couldn't not do it. I knew I'd do it eventually. I've been searching around for one used, and when they went on sale, it was just time to do it. So that's it for now. I'm not, I've done a lot of videos on Demko AD20.5s. The only thing I'll really throw in there is that they do run the liner the whole way if you haven't seen some of my other videos, and they do the back spacers on these versus, I should say they do the standoffs versus the back spacer. So they're pretty nice. There's a lot of elements to this with the, you know, the bigger pivot hardware and everything that reflect off of the higher end 8020s and 8020.5s. I'm sorry, 8020Ss. Yeah, and this is just a real sweet model here. So had to find a way, and the way found me, luckily. So actually, you know what? I'll be honest. There's someone in the channel, and I'm sorry I forget your username offhand, but someone that's been watching the channel told me that the KnifeCenter sale went down. So thank you for that. I would probably have found it eventually, but you brought it to my attention sooner. I shared it out to subscribers. So hopefully everyone that was looking for one of these but needed a little extra price break were able to get what you were looking for during that Black Friday sale. I think it may actually still be going on. It was yesterday on December 1st. I don't know about today. I haven't had time to look, but all right, let's keep moving here. And let's get over to this Benchmade Griptillian, because this is one that is very exciting to me and one that I've been wanting to check out for a while. I went for the full size because everyone, I mean, the name Griptillian speaks for itself. This knife is all about the feel in hand and stuff. So let's get it open. I'll just put it very careful. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take that one off today. Oh, that's a bummer. That's one of the things about doing it that way. That is a real bummer to do that to the box, but oh well. What do you think? Put it back or take it off? I don't know. I think what's done is done on that one. So let's see what this thing is all about. This obviously has a lot of heritage, not one I'm super familiar with because I've just never had one, but this little snazzy color combo came up with the, I think, is it, do they call it red or orange? It is, I don't know if it says here, it just says exclusive. Yeah, I don't know if it says here. So I'll have to look into that, but yeah, I think it's like a red. Ooh, that's a nice little action. 20CV, Cerakote, like, and I just wanted to see what this thing was all about in hand. And it is, generally lives up to its legend. I'd say that there's probably a few different grip options. I don't know that this is the one that's probably the best of all of them. It's kind of tall on the grips here, on the, I don't know what you call it, the, not the milling, maybe it is milled out of that material, but we'll call it the texturing. I mean, one of the things I do notice about this is it's a little hollow sounding. Don't love that in a knife when it's kind of hollow sounding. The Hogue Deca is kind of like that too. The thing's got some weight to it. That's also kind of surprising there. 20 CV. I don't remember what the number was on this, but it was, maybe I have it here actually on the receipt. Let's see. They had it on sale for $110. 110. And that was just enough to finally get me on my first Griptillian. Now they had a couple different blade shapes, and there were some that were more interesting to me than this. I don't know if you call that a straight back or a drop clip point or what that is. That is interesting. It actually looks like it's pretty functional, but it's not really my style. It's a little pointy. I'd probably rather this come up and then out a little more. It feels pretty good in hand for use, but not great. It's like a pretty thin blade. So it's good, but it's what I'd say it's just a little not intuitive, if that's the right term. I've heard these Benchmade factory are a little, yeah, they got a little bite on these things. Not too bad though. Oof, listen to that. I guess that's the positive outcome of having this sort of hollow, that's crazy sounding. That is not what my other Benchmade, that's not what the bug out sounds like at all. Bug out, click. Griptillian. smokes. That's pretty satisfying. That's pretty loud. It'll take a minute to break in, but it's pretty drop shotty actually already. The rollout's brilliant as always. I just feel like these things always come just ready to roll. Centering, not great as per usual, man. I tell you, these shocking to me how frequently I get Benchmades that are not centered. I don't understand at this point, for their price point, that they can't get their centering straight. Maybe it's the design or something, I don't know, but always disappointed with that. Like, I literally can't think of one I have that I haven't had a slight centering issue. Let me see if this, maybe this Blade HQ one doesn't with the G10. This one looks like it's pretty good with the G10. Maybe it's the G10 scales. Make it a little stronger or something, but this Grivery stuff, I think this is kind of the same Grivery material. Feels like it's pretty much the same Grivery material. It just, I don't know if it's that or what, but this at least is a lot stronger. Like, you don't feel like you're compressing it versus the bug out. The bug out's really intentional for one thing, right? Which is like ultimate EDC lightness and so on. But it's a cool knife. Glad I got it. I was thinking it was just more of the same, but it really is not. The feel is definitely a full-size knife feel. There's no choke up point, but you don't really need it. The handle's like so generous. You know, it's called the Griptillian for a reason. You really don't feel a need to choke up on it. And if you want to do a draw cut or get up on it like that, that's not a problem. Where this ends, I feel like that's something that Benchmade does pretty well, is they try and let your front finger get pretty high up without having to choke up, without having to have a forward choil, especially on the bug out. It's very generous how they make the space work on this versus, for instance, like the Hogue Deca's a much better value knife than the bug out right now, but that extra space between here and here doesn't let you choke up as much, so you kind of run out of room down at the bottom. The bug out, you get a little, you can really choke up on it, and I feel the same way with the Griptillian here, where you do not feel like you're short on handle to grab. So that feels really good. There's some nice knockdown area up in the front here. See if I can get a little more light over here. Might help. Hopefully that's better. Nice little knockdown area here in the front. Back in the back, it's a little sharp. As per usual with Benchmade, are really nice. I really like Benchmade thumb studs. I think they do a great job on their thumb studs. And boy, that feedback is quite fun. I am not mad about that. That is very positive on the feedback that your knife is now locked open. Yeah, no complaints here. Well, one complaint, the centering, but the feel of the Grivery is definitely plasticky, and I feel it like right in here. I'll say that, I do notice that. Let me get this focused. This little ledge in here is a little sharp. That's the one thing I'll say there. When you come in here, you can feel there's these like little, like, I don't want to call it jimping. It's sort of the opposite of jimping. I guess it's jimping, but that feels a little sharp on the finger too. That's got a little hot spot on it. The pocket clip's fine. It's not like full deep carry, which is not ideal. I don't know why they did that. Frankly, that makes no sense, but I guess the point here is maybe not. This is not a carry knife, but more of a utility knife or something. That action sound is just a pleasure. That's the surprise of the video for sure. That's fun. So we can get the reverse flick going. It's got more space on it than this knife. Like, this knife's kind of hard to reverse flick because there's not a lot of purchase when you're letting it go. like you're kind of getting on the axis lock, and as the axis lock goes, if you're in the way of it, it's going to stop the knife from coming out. So you need to let it move. So the reverse flick on the bug out's always a little, like, I'm sure there's people that are better at it than me, but a little sketchy, whereas this has so much area that you can really, you know, feel like you can get you know, a good purchase while you're flipping your finger out. So that I like. Yeah, this is a cool knife. This is a really cool, like, semi-hard use knife or something. I don't know what it would fall under for like a category, but like it feels like it wants to be like a lightweight hard use knife. It's a cool knife. 4 ounces flat. And if you're gonna do it, might as well do an exclusive like this, right? So many cool exclusives out from so many brands these days. I do look for opportunities to get something, you know, kind of unique when I do it. So kind of curious size-wise how this compares against, you know, my daily. It feels like it's very similar in dimensions. A little shorter this way, but quite a bit thicker this way. So let's see if there's a good way for me to put this back to back here. So you can see it is almost the exact same dimension in terms of length, and depending which blade you have on these, the shark's foot's like a 1/4 inch shorter than the clip point, so unfolded definitely different there. But let me grab a clip point back out, and then you're in a pretty similar category. It's definitely a little bigger, longer on the blade and so on, but fairly similar there. Nice knife. Glad that worked out. It reminds me a lot of the Para 3 too, dimension-wise and size-wise, and just kind of how you operate it a little bit. Obviously, I think the Para 3 is better for the on the deployment probably. It's close. They just have their benefits, but they're also both like really good in-hand knives. The Para 3 being something that has a little more on the choke-up point, versus the Griptillian doesn't really have that choke-up point and modularity. Much longer cutting edge, like it's not even comparable. Looks like you got an extra 25%, almost 20 or 25% cutting edge. And it's a shorter total blade. This weighs a touch less. I think it's about 3.5 ounces or so. I shouldn't quote that without checking. Let me see what the Para 3 weighs real quick. 3.25? Somewhere in there. 3.45. I was not far off. 3.5. So, yeah. Cool. Good knife day. Good knife day indeed. I'll have to spend a little time with this one and do more of a full review. See what I think. I mean, it's something that's been reviewed and known for a long time, but some people enjoy me and my sort of newness to some of these knives, and a fresh set of eyes in the context of existing modern knives is a different perspective. So see if I get to do a full review of that and how I sort of grade it, just given everything that's out there. But I can tell you, it's got one of the most interesting sounds when it opens of any knife. Instead of snapping, it pops. I don't know if I've ever really heard that. These have really cool opening sounds too, and like as you get up the bigger ones, they sound like cooler and cooler, I'd say. Different, I'd say, probably, but this one, I still just never heard something that pops like that, because it has this like fully enclosed back almost. Kind of reminds me of like a subwoofer contain, you know, like a speaker box or something like that, that just perpetuates the sound. It's kind of fun. really wide pocket clip. I'd be curious how that kind of goes in and out of the pocket. Just do a quick pocketing on this. It's definitely a wad in the pocket. It's not terrible, but you know, it's got some pretty contoured sides to it, so it kind of pushes into the leg a little, and it's wide. So I mean, compare the width here to even what I'd call an 8 out of 10. See if I can get focused here, sorry. You know, I think the Demko is kind of like an 8 out of 10 on the pocket carry. Bug out's like a 9 out of 10. And the mini bug out's like a 10 out of 10. That's a lot wider. It's a totally different category of knife. I thought they were more similar, actually. I was mistaken. I was very much mistaken. They're really two very different knives from the same company that have the same lock on them. That's the best way I could describe them. I mean, there's obviously some similarities here and there, and how you can connect. You could probably put this clip on it if I'm seeing it right. I don't know if it's the exact same width. Someone can probably comment in there. But this one's only 2 screws, but it feels like it's the same. Looks like it's like the same width. I bet there's some pretty good options. Everyone out there already knows, of course, because you've owned these, but I haven't done any research on aftermarket. But yeah, 20CV knife from Benchmade, made in the USA for $110 on sale. CPM 20CV there. Griptillian KnifeCenter edition, KnifeCenter exclusive, blue cast. That's interesting. This has been around for a while. You're probably all very unimpressed. 8/7 of 21, I believe, is the date there. So nothing new here, but that is a nice little pickup. So I definitely get why this one's been around and liked for a long time. The old Hogue grip style. You can get the Ritter Hogue version of this. I've seen those floating around for a lot more money, but now they have it in Magna Cut. That's pretty compelling. And just like every other Benchmade, it sure opens up quickly and becomes easy to use in a very short period of time. So, cool. Good knife. I think I'll stop rambling about it now and send you on your way. Thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'm sure I made some good mistakes today because this is one that I was not expecting. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.